On the day before All Hallows Eve, it's also the penultimate time this Lynchburg women's soccer team takes the field this regular season. So much on the line, including a chance for home field advantage and the ODAC tournament. Spooky season's alive, it's coming to Schellenberger, and we promise a few thrills from the Hill City tonight. The green and gold from Hollins meet the hometown Lynchburg Hornets, and it's coming your way right now. Hi, everybody. Little different look today. Evan Gates alongside my good friend Ethan Morotsky. Ethan, Halloween just a day away. The festivities are rocking, and really just a fun time to be in the Burg.
Well, I tell you what, I've been here this is my 5th year, and Halloween, it just gets better and better. It's one of the best holidays here in the Hill City. Got soccer going on here, some trick-or-treating I'm sure is going to happen between the college students. No matter what age you are, there's always a time for some candy.
Well, and what's so special, too, you're not always guaranteed the fact that it's going to be in the 70s at this stage of the season. We know these two teams will appreciate the warm weather today, and obviously just being around at such a fun time in the season. We've got the postseason just a couple games away, and so everything starting to really materialize in late October.
Well, like you said, Lynchburg fighting for home field advantage, and that is something that is just so uneducated between some teams. I mean, it's so important to play in front of your home fans across the track over here. Obviously, you're going to have fans on the stands over here, but home field advantage is so important, and that's what Lynchburg's fighting for through the whole ODAC playoffs.
Well, still a lot to fight for, and so for Steve Irwin and Bluey, let's go ahead and transition into your team comparisons and take a look at some of the numbers from today. They're important to look at this stage of the season because there's so much that has started to find the stat sheet. This is a Hollins team that struggles defensively, allowing 6.3 goals per game, and we know Lynchburg's offense is starting to get hot, Ethan.
Well, when we compare the teams between the last couple the series that they've had, Lynchburg's handily controlled the series between these two schools, winning all 17 matchups since 1999. And additionally, the Hornets have won the last 5 meetings, all by double figures, and that's where the defense of Hollins comes into play. Like you said, they've struggled all season. We're going to have to see how the offense does for Lynchburg and how possibly the offense helps out on defense for Hollins. We're going to see a really, really tough game for this Hollins team in total. So it's going to be really exciting for the Lynchburg Hornets.
Well, the green and gold, led by a pair of freshmen up front, we'll get a chance to see them today. But obviously, Lynchburg's back line hoping to eliminate as many chances as possible. We know the Hornets, when they have possession, have been very strong this season. And oh, by the way, Lynchburg on a 7-game unbeaten streak. They'll try to keep that one alive today. Ethan, when we understand this stage of the season, we know Hollins obviously looking at their final 2 games. Lynchburg has the postseason, trying to get in a good spot. What's the key for both squads just staying true to their goals today?
Well, for Hollins, and a lot of people say this, it's more all about pride. I mean, they're trying to get one of the better seasons they've had in the last couple years, so they're going to just try and end the season off on a high note, maybe get something going into the next season, into a new recruiting class. For Lynchburg, it's about keeping your composure, knowing that this could be a trap game. Any team can win on any given day, so again, it's about composure, staying true to the team that you are and the team that you've been for the last 7 games, and extending this win streak 1 game at a time.
Absolutely, and we'll go ahead and take a look at some of the keys to the game, the gateway to success. For both teams, you got to look at defense because it's going to be interesting when we understand this possession battle. Likely going to lean Lynchburg's way, but Hollins will try and bite into it. For the green and gold, it's about eliminating long stints on defense. You got to protect your keeper. They have faced over 300 shots this season, something they're trying to clip down on, as well as patient possession. It starts in the midfield, and we've seen Lynchburg capitalize throughout the season as well with patient possession. For the Hornets, you got to be aggressive defensively. Allowing more pieces to contribute on offense starts with that back line. We will understand that there will be lots of runs today if they can keep it going, as well as smart shooting, taking advantage of opportunities. You don't get many in the ODAC tournament.
Well, absolutely. You hit the nail on the head with the aggressive back line. We know this Lynchburg defense is just such a juggernaut, not just in the ODAC, but in the country. We have a very experienced back line. So when we talk about being aggressive, they're gonna do everything they can to attack this Hollins defense along with the offense, and that's where the diversity of this defensive line comes into play for Lynchburg, not just against teams like Holland, but teams like W&L and Shenandoah.
Lots of experience on this Lynchburg squad. They're trying to make a deep run. It's got to start in the next few games. Just 2 more in the regular season. We start exploring this one as Lynchburg takes on Hollins in the Hill City. We will be right back after the anthem.
I am a first-generation college student. I applied to 16 universities, and I actually had decided on going to a different university, but doing FAFSA and everything on my own, and
Welcome back in the Hill City. It's a fun one, the final regular season game here on Schellenberger Field, at least for this Lynchburg women's soccer squad, a team that sits at 9-4-3, still undefeated in conference play. We know an early season matchup with Washington and Lee went the Generals' way, but it was not a conference affair. So as we start biting into this one, we'll take a look at some of the players to watch. Evelyn Kiefer is one for Hollins who will make a difference. We mentioned the 2 freshmen up front with Kiefer and Adelie Condra. Well, Kiefer this season, the freshman from Falls Church, Virginia, starting all 13 matches. 7 goals in the first 2 games, as you see 9 in this 2024 campaign. She's been a difference maker.
Oh, absolutely. 9 goals as a freshman this season and starting every single game for this Hollins squad. That is so exciting for a team that is struggling this season. But having freshmen that are starting every single game is so exciting. It's very helpful for the coach knowing that for the next couple of years you have somebody that you can rely on all the time.
And on the other side, now a veteran, but someone who has made a contribution in a big way this season, Madeline Boyce, also sitting at 9 goals.
Yeah, Madeline Boyce has been monumental for this Lynchburg offense over this stretch of wins, recording 5 goals. And Boyce also currently leads the team with 9 on the season, which ties her for 6th overall in the conference. So definitely somebody that we always look at Madeline Boyce when she's on the pitch, but somebody that we're going to be taking extra special care for, looking at with 9 goals, 1 assist, and 4 game winners for this Lynchburg offense.
Well, she just continues to contribute, and what's so impressive is that was what struggled with this Lynchburg team last year. They couldn't necessarily get the goals when they had golden opportunities. They've started slotting them in the back of the net today. It's been such a difference this season. We'll go ahead and introduce the starters for this one. Lynchburg in the home whites. They'll move right to left in this first half as immediately looking to move forward. And at the feet of Lacey Garner right now is the ball, a newcomer to the starting lineup, as immediately Hollins gets this one out for a corner. So we will go through the Hornets lineup quickly. Meredith Bowers starts in goal again. She has been sensational this season and really starting to have a heightened presence between the pipes rather. She will continue to keep some consistency. McKenna Dom, Haley Casey, Alora Gurkowski, Lacey Garner, Sammy Rogstad, Claire Lloyd, Madeline Boyce, Liliana Siragoyen, Ella Irons, and Zirkle are in the lineup. Immediately, a collision in the box, and T. Shover takes this one out for Hollins. Can't have many long conversations as Lynchburg immediately working forward with this attack.
Yeah, it's something you love to see. Starting the pressure, we knew that there was going to be a ton of offense in this game for Lynchburg. Starting it off in the first couple seconds is something that is very encouraging for this Lynchburg team.
We will see how they continue to play as we near the end of the season. A few differences in the lineup. Lauren Warner again does not start today, the third straight match. And so that midfield, it will be interesting to see going into conference play what that status is as Lacey Garner stays on sides, moving towards the goal, finally files through the first one. It only took a minute and a half as Lynchburg and Lacey Garner popped the net.
Lacey Garner, number 12, the senior, driving up the wing on the left side, doing a fantastic job. A perfect shot past the goalkeeper on her far right side. Fantastic start for this Lynchburg offense.
Lacey Garner gets goal number 1 of the season. The senior defender who has been so crucial gets one on the stat sheet. It did not take much time at all, and Lynchburg just showing some isolation offense. Hollins has struggled with giving up leads early in games this season. On one side, it is a struggle, but you also know that this team is not going to be pressed early. Rogstad files through across. Hornets getting greedy early. This one files all the way to the other side of the field on the far touchline. Kept in, and second cross on the way. Garner almost got number 2. Hollins reverses the field, trying to go the other way, but Sammy Rogstad, the talented freshman, gets possession back for the Hornets.
Man, wouldn't that have been something if Garner got her second goal of the season just minutes in between each other?
Playing out on that wing to start this contest. It's been such a strong position for Lynchburg this season. They have continued to spread this offense out. Madeline Boyce called offsides. An important point for Hollins in this contest. We'll be trying to keep that line straight in the back. See how many chances they can eliminate from the Hornets. Casey gets a touch on it, and it's back to Garner. Lots to discuss from recent games. Lynchburg getting a key win at Shenandoah on Saturday. And when we look at the standings, we'll explore them throughout this game, but they start to look favorable now, Ethan. A chance for Lynchburg to be the 2 seed in the ODAC tournament and even get to host a semifinal game if they get through that quarterfinal.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning, home field advantage is so pivotal in this conference, the ODAC. We talk about it every single game, how good the ODAC is in every single sport. And women's soccer, it is just every team is always so competitive. So getting home field advantage for the first 2 games, if you win the first one, is so key for this Lynchburg team, and it's going to be helpful for them going into the playoffs.
Shover gathers and will boot this one off. Certainly not an easy table to deal with in the ODAC. Lots of teams in the middle who can compete, and even in that first matchup in the ODAC tournament, it can be so crucial. Lynchburg last season was tested with Randolph-Macon coming to town, but the Hornets were able to get out of that matchup before falling to Washington and Lee. Another chance now for the Hornets. Ella Irons outside of the box, working middle of the field. Was maybe ready to lace one up. Instead, kicked out. Now Zirkle. Uruguayan on the far side, doing enough. Low rolling cross. It's out for a corner. The second for Lynchburg.
Really good clearance there from the Hollins defense. Pass into the box can go anywhere. Lynchburg attackers are always on the case with a pass in the middle of the box, so really good clearance there, just giving their defense a breather.
Lynchburg facing the sun right now. You can see it a little bit on your screen. Not an easy angle, but the Hornets still trying to find the goal, and then a header that goes the other way from Boyce looked very promising.
Yeah, it looked like it hit a couple heads there. Goes out on Lynchburg. We're going to focus a lot on corners, it seems like, for this Lynchburg attack. See how the Hollins defense can shape up against it.
Certainly want to keep the fundamentals. For Hollins, it's T. Shover in goal, Allie Klotz, Natalie Condra, Izzy Workman, Jasmine Fitzgerald. Hold that thought, ball loose, and Shover pressed into action again. Rest of the lineup goes as follows. It's Evelyn Kiefer, Faith Falter, Evelyn Lemus Arriaga, Chloe Mayer, Haley Pond, and Leah Ray Tucker. A smaller lineup for Hollins compared to other rosters, but they do have a lot of diversity when you look at the location. Have some representation from the Bahamas, Louisiana, Oregon, Idaho. It goes all across the U.S.
A couple players from the Bahamas. That's incredible.
Don't see that every day. Uruguayan slots one into the box. Clean material as Ella irons an easy right foot in. Irons has come alive at this stage of the season, Ethan.
Yeah, Ella Irons, she's just that dual threat attacker that Lynchburg, I mean, they absolutely love her on this team. They feed her the ball on the left, in the middle, on the right. She can do anything. She's got speed. She can dribble. She's very tall. I mean, she's probably taller than I am. She's just a dual threat, and she can do anything on this offense. There's a reason why Lynchburg feeds her all the time.
Cool, calm, and collected to get goal number 2. And Lynchburg on the prowl again. Expect to see lots of different looks from Lynchburg today if the offense keeps on humming. 2 shots, 2 goals, about as efficient as possible. As Shover sends this one out on the far side. Now Uruguayan will have a throw.
Now, obviously, 2 goals have been scored here quick for Lynchburg, but it doesn't show that Shover's actually done a pretty good job coming out, sweeping balls up when she can. And just like there before the throw-in, clearing the ball, giving her defense some time to get back and help out on this struggling Hollins defense.
We've talked about it throughout the season. Goalkeeping and that back line are so connected. You feel like a goalkeeper's stats are really representative of the entire defense. And so it will be interesting to see today how Hollins molds around, because this is a team that has faced several shots throughout this year. And you look at the shots allowed in the stat sheet, they're allowing over 30 per game. But you can't always put that on Shover and the goalkeeper. It's all about this back line and just eliminating opportunities early.
Well, I think that's what Lynchburg does so well, is that they have so much chemistry in the back line, and that may have something to do with the amount of experience that they all have with each other. But even with Meredith Bowers, the goalkeeper, there's just so much chemistry back there, and they all love working with each other.
Little too much contact on that advance from Evelyn Kiefer. Lynchburg can take it the other way. Don't forget there's a new Facebook account for Lynchburg Sports. One of those little transition periods. You can follow us at Lynchburg Athletics, as you see at the top of your screen. Lots of good stuff going on in the Hill City, and a very promising time, Ethan, because we might see 4 different teams host an ODAC tournament game.
Well, I tell you what, we were talking about this the last time I was out here. Is soccer one of those sports where there's not a neutral site for every single team? When you look at baseball, there's a neutral site past the first round of the ODAC playoffs. So that just ups the stakes on why home field advantage is so important.
Uruguayan has this ball escape just a touch too far. Neutral site can be interesting, and it's always fun when you get all the teams in one location, but it just feels like a little extra energy when you got to travel, especially for a championship game. Lynchburg was fortunate to see a few of these hosted last year. If you go back to the fall, Lynchburg's field hockey squad was able to collect a win versus Shenandoah. As the Hornets immediately sub out that back line. Obviously not a traditional look from Lynchburg, getting Casey Grukowski and Claire Lloyd off the field. Also, Kate Shepard enters in goal. Now Boyce working on the near side. Cross, beautiful. Oh, wow, it greased the pipe. Hornets have heard that sound multiple times throughout the season. It's been the crossbar, the posts, everything in between. They will settle for a corner.
Well, soccer, it's just a game of inches, and like you said, Lynchburg's heard it all season long. Going back to the WNL game, a tie game, and they hit the crossbar.
This ball played in the box, escapes out the other side. It's even more crucial in those close contests. We know Lynchburg had a chance to come back from being down 2 goals with about 5 minutes left against the Generals. An unsuccessful attempt, but it was crossbar close. So very interesting when you look at that result, as Ella Irons and Sammy Rogstad had very nice chances. Here's Lacey Garner that sails over the crossbar.
Garner with a similar look there, same as the first goal that she scored, trying to double up her goal total for the season.
Lacey Garner, someone who is just so impressive when she's on the field. Hasn't started a lot of matches, but she brings a lot of aggression. We see her out on the wing today. Here's another winger, Ella Irons, working middle of the field. We'll play this one out. Garner back to the middle of the field, and Hollins can take over. This is a Hollins squad that is led by Kat Van Orden in her 4th season. The Chesterfield, Virginia native, also a 4-year starter at Roanoke College, so kept things local going down the street to Hollins. This ball played out. It's a race to it as Shover goes all the way out of the box. Nat Deacon and the coaching staff for Lynchburg had to watch out on the sideline. Now Rogstad inserts to Boyce. Few quick steps and working towards the goal. Dangerous territory for Hollins as this ball's played out.
Really nice clearance there from Faith Falter. You know, we were talking about the coaching staff having to watch out. It's funny enough, we've got a little bit of the coaching staff up here in the studio with Micah Adams. Looking like Coach Olson up here.
That's right. Our director today, Micah Adams, had to go out with the Coach Olson attire, and it's a smart choice, too. He just picked up win number 500 a couple games ago. This corner played in the box, rolling around. Who wants it? Ella Irons momentarily sat, and now pinballing all the way around before the referee intervenes.
Coach Olson's like a celebrity out here, so I don't blame him for getting a nice Halloween costume. It wouldn't be hard to make the fit either. Just need the hat, the sunglasses, the really nice, beautiful hair from Coach Olson, too.
The calm demeanor, too. You can't really tell if a game is a 10-0 scoreline or if it's a 90th minute championship moment. He's always ready. Hollins, maybe their first big chance of the game, and it's taken away. Good, stout defense from Lynchburg. Eliminating opportunities quickly. Adelie Condra was the attacker in that situation, and we've seen her multiple times, 8 goals this season. As this flag goes up, once again, Madeline Boyce caught off sides, but she's looking for goal number 10, and it would be a big-time result if she can get double digits, because this Lynchburg squad has capitalized on really getting it done by committee. She would be the first Hornet with double-digit goals since 2019.
Really impressive. Obviously, scoring goals not easy in the ODAC, but scoring double-digit goals is just, it's magical. Obviously, you love to see it for your team, but it's scary to go up against any other team, knowing that you have such a prolific goal scorer on this Lynchburg Hornets offense.
Just a testament to the consistency that the Hornets have seen this season. As Shover calls the defenders off, this is an easy grab and go. Hollins coming into this one with a 5-game losing streak. Lynchburg won their last one versus Shenandoah, tied with Bridgewater, and the result before. Another one of those games that could be pivotal, but the Hornets have started to figure it out, especially on the doorstep of the ODAC tournament. Remember, just one more match day will be on Saturday, where the Hornets take on Ferrum. Hollins will have EMU. Look at the run from Madeline Boyce. Left foot. Oh, she might have a second chance. Shover out of the goal. Oh, wow. Another post-close opportunity for Lynchburg.
Really good goalkeeping there from T. Shover to come out and take away any of the space that was given to Lynchburg. And that's just called staying with it, really. It's not giving up on that play from both sides, from the defense and the offense there.
You don't know if that's a miss if Hollins doesn't apply that pressure defensively. Doing just enough to keep Lynchburg off the scoreboard. It is 2-0. The Hornets struck early. Lacey Garner was able to get the first one. Someone who, as we've already mentioned, doesn't find the scoring column very often with that position. More of defensive-minded. The Hornets struck first. This cross played in. Boyce was the intended target. Now Hollins looking to clear the other way. Second goal of the day scored by Ella Irons, someone who has had a breakout season. The seniors are really starting to play well going into the postseason.
Well, I think that's what you really look for when you go towards the playoffs, is you look for your experience to come out and show what they're there for. I mean, these seniors, this entire senior back line and players like Ella Irons, them stepping up is so encouraging for the rest of the team, along with the coaching staff, knowing that there is strength in this upper-class squad.
Maybe further reason why all three on that back line are sitting right now to get a little bit of an extra rest day as Boyce takes this shot and it goes wide. Ooh, second chance. Lynchburg almost sneaks this one in. They do earn a corner. Substitutions now. Sajel Wellington comes in for the Hornets.
Yeah, it looked like a shot from Ella Irons that went a little wide, but not giving up on that play. I mean, that's exactly what you always see from this Lynchburg squad, no matter what the scoreline is.
Grace Glarum comes into the contest for Hollins. She will replace Allie Klotz. Corner inserted. Boyce gets another hat on it. Lynchburg getting more dangerous by the minute. We mentioned Grace Glarum and Allie Klotz. They are two players who also can occupy the goalkeeping duties for this team. They have not gotten a start this year. At least T. Shover has been the main starter as Wellington ready to fire. So many storylines to follow. And we can look at women's soccer and the ODAC table. You also got to look at some of the other sports. The men's team may be in a position to be first place. This cross goes around. Wellington tries to redirect. Another opportunity that Lynchburg starts to taste. Unable to finish the job, but they have shown us already some of the chess pieces up front.
Yeah, absolutely. This Lynchburg team looks hungry. We talk about how the previous outcomes between these two teams, the Hornets have won by double digits in the last 5 matches between these two teams. They're looking to make it 6 in a row.
Ball is ushered down on the near touchline. Lacey Garner will take the throw. Last time these two teams met was in 2021. Lynchburg won that affair 11-0. So a few years removed. Hornets trying to get it done again. Here's Boyce. Close to the keeper. Cross fouls all the way through. Zirkle was in the zip code. A perfect possession. Just couldn't pounce.
We've seen a lot of beautiful plays here from this Lynchburg offense. Madeline Boyce, our player to watch today. She scores goals and she can assist. Had a really nice pass there to Zirkle, just couldn't get on the end of it. It's really encouraging, and it's something that you're going to see all game. And eventually, we've seen 2 goals already, but eventually more will come if they keep playing good soccer.
We will see if Hollins can just get out of this defensive third. That's been the battle this season. Hornets still pounding as Boyce was ready to turn and burn. Now Oliver applying pressure. This one all the way through. Olsen. Eventually the pass gets to Wellington. Oh, takes a little too much time. Offsides flag was up. Quick hesitation, and Wellington, we've seen her footwork. Maybe some of the best on the team. She is so crafty. Just couldn't get that opportunity to go, but either way, the referee intervenes. Hollins moves the other way.
Looking at Wellington, she's just a sophomore for this team, and she gets a ton of minutes off the bench. She is one of the key players that comes off of the sidelines for Coach Olsen's Hornets. So seeing her play so much is it's beautiful for this team.
A lot of attacking prowess. Here's Boyce. fires that one to Shover. She is constantly staying in action. It's so impressive as a goalkeeper, just knowing the reflexes, but also so many runs that she's had to make from the post today.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most important things for being a keeper is knowing when to close down the space and knowing also where your defense stands as they're running back into the box to mark the other girls on the squad.
Certainly a committee effort. Wellington pass stays on sides. Garner attempted the cross, might get another stab at it. This ball works down the near touchline and out. Throw for Lynchburg. Just about 20 minutes into this contest. Boyce tries to corral. Oh, great pass. Wellington in the box. Can she redirect? Trying to get down Main Street. The Hornets all over. Zirkle wanted a chance. And the clearance for Hollins.
More lovely play there from Lynchburg. Maybe just a pass away. Wellington looked like she tried to take it herself, which I don't blame her, especially after 2 goals in quick succession at the beginning of the game.
Here's a nice chance that finds its way in. Looping kick from the Hornets. And guess who? Morgan Oliver. Any chance she takes seems to be from outside the 18. Field goal material for number 7. And Lynchburg is goal number 3.
Well, just a beautiful shot from past the 18-yard mark. If you got that much space, there's no reason you shouldn't take that shot.
Tell you what, Morgan Oliver is one of the players that we are going to watch grow and grow in these next couple of seasons, because the jump that she has already made from freshman to sophomore year has been sensational. She and Lauren Warner, 2 of the key pieces for that sophomore class. Obviously, we mentioned Sajel Wellington. Lots of great promise from this Lynchburg team, and Morgan Oliver does it again. Goal number 5 on the season. Just feels like an addiction, and Coach Olson has been instilling that confidence that she can shoot from outside the 18. I think it's because she's so good at it.
When it's also not just her. I mean, everybody on this Lynchburg offense loves taking those shots. It's always good to be ambitious because you never know when you're going to strike it correctly. You're going to get a good amount of curl on it, and you're going to beat just over the top of the keeper.
Continuing to look so composed is this Lynchburg offense as Haley DeYoung enters the contest. Freshman midfielder from Castlewood, Virginia. She replaces Leah Ray Tucker. Lots of strong challenges from Tucker on that near touchline. She has been busy in the first few minutes of this contest. Here's Wampler up front, one of the freshmen. Great pass to Wellington. One-on-one with Shover. Oh, flag goes up again. Wellington, you have to imagine, will get goal number 1 because she has been all around these opportunities. Just hasn't popped the net yet.
Yeah, just a couple of chances there where she's mistiming her runs, something that you can fix mid-game, and she's going to look for. I mean, if she can get that goal number 1, it would just extend this Lynchburg lead and give even more confidence to everybody else on the pitch.
Sajel Wellington, also a talent for singing. She sung the national anthem before one of our games. I believe it was homecoming weekend. It's always fun to see the different talents, but when you can contribute on the field before your game, that's pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's what you get here at the University of Lynchburg. Everybody can do everything.
Watch out, Kiefer takes a stab at it, almost sneaking into the top corner. The green and gold, almost creating an opportunity out of nothing. A great transition look. Lynchburg defense has to be careful now, as Kate Shepard can send this one on its way.
Well, you said it, they're not giving up. It's 3-0, but they're going to do everything they can to get some momentum going here in this game.
This is a Hollins squad that has a chance to get 4 wins on the season, and that would be the number to beat from 2013 and 2019, the 2 times in recent years that they have gotten it. Here's Wellington working with that right foot. Deflection and cleared. This Hollins team staying on their heels as Lynchburg advances forward. Hollins, as we said, is EMU, another team that is near the bottom of the table this season. That final game for the green and gold will be at home, 1 o'clock on Saturday. See if they can take care of business. Wellington, cross opportunity. Oliver tries to keep it alive. You can tell with how the Hornets have pressed up the field, this back line essentially all over. Offense starting to gain a little more confidence.
Well, it's really encouraging for Coach Matt Olson to have a back line that hasn't really played much because of the amount of experience you have back there. I mean, you've got players like Haley Casey who rarely ever come off of the field. So to have the back line have the ability to come out and play while you're up 3-0, it gives them confidence, and it also just helps out the depth that you have on this team, giving them experience on the pitch.
Well, here's the issue, right? Because next year, Lynchburg has 3 seniors leaving, and Casey, Grukowski, and Lloyd. And so you got to find a balance between playing your freshmen and getting them reps, so next year isn't exactly just a new equation, but also using those veterans. And Coach Olson starting to find answers. Here's Hannah Phillips, runs out of room.
Well, that's also why these games are so important for the Hornets, is because you have the opportunity to allow them to have minutes on the pitch going into the next season. So, like you said, they're not going in completely dry.
Right now on that back line is Taylor Burton, as you see a deflection from number 26. Ellie Goldberg and Julia Byrne. They've gotten several looks this season, so this is not exactly appearance number 1 or 2. They have a lot of experience, and as we said, that's something that Coach Olson is trying to balance out, especially when you have some of these backline players like Haley Casey, who leads the team in minutes. Oh, Wellington on the near side, another offsides call. Not just in this contest, but the entire season. That's been a struggle for this Hornets offense. I think it's just a product of their aggression offensively too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Hornets want to score goals, and you just got to find a way how you can time your runs right, whether that's on the players on the wing or the players that you're sending on your through ball pass, or it could be the player who's passing the ball. It's just got to be some sort of link up that you have to figure out, and that's what practice is for too. And that's also what games like this are for. I mean, Lynchburg's having so many opportunities to figure out passes like that, and going right into playoffs, it just makes this game even bigger for this Hornets offense.
Certainly favorable spot on the schedule, especially when Lynchburg has been in the heat of conference play. Lots of tough results to deal with, and it's been very positive in recent history for Lynchburg. They're on that 7-game unbeaten streak, but it does come at the expense of a lot of fatigue. You're playing every Wednesday and Saturday. This pass files all the way through. Wellington has it. Another deflection.
Something you love to see from Wellington is she's so unselfish at the top of the field. She loves to try and find the perfect pass to her teammates.
Very nice style of play as well, always giving. Hannah Phillips got a foot on it, but Shover finds it in her gloves. Looking back at last season for Lynchburg, they clinched a 2 seed in the ODAC tournament, hosted Washington and Lee in that semifinal, as we touched on, and a chance to repeat, host 2 games on Schellenberger. We know Washington and Lee has a perfect 8-0 in conference play, 14-game unbeaten streak for the Generals. They are looking untouchable at the top of the table. But to get a second game in that ODAC tournament would be a very nice sight for Lynchburg.
Yeah, home games at Schellenberger Field, they're something else. You don't get those anywhere else.
You got the couches, the futons, the chairs, you name it. They're all coming out on the track on the other side. A great student section. Hornets file this one in. Looks like it goes out untouched, so a goal kick for T. Shover. If you talk to Coach Olson at this stage, no, it will be a corner, correction. So Lynchburg heads to the flag. Coach Olson is so apt to talk about the postseason, and he really understands, yes, the regular season matters, but we have to play our best soccer in November.
Well, Coach Olson, not only is he experienced in the postseason as a coach, but he's experienced as a player. I mean, he played ODAC soccer when he was in college, and now he's coaching it, and he's got over 500 wins, so he knows what he's talking about. Coach Olson is somebody that anybody would love to get advice from such a successful coach and player.
Got to know both ways and understand that emotions are a real thing for players, especially late in the season. You've been with a group for so long. How well can you manage everything? It seems like this squad is clicking better than ever, heading into the climax. Throw on the near side. Wellington just lets this one roll over her head. There's another example of some of that craftsmanship. Hornets keep moving the chains. They'll try to get into dangerous territory. Katie Paulette, another freshman. Wellington has it in the box. Oh, another offsides call. She can't believe it. Hands in the air. It seems like every chance. It might just be a matter of inches.
Frustrating to hear that whistle called now, I believe, for the 4th time on her. Frustration may be able to set in. Something that you look for if you're Hollins.
Helps build confidence in that back line, but you also can't become too naive because you know that one Lynchburg run can find its way in the back of the net. That being said, the green and gold can send it the other way as Kiefer is applying the pressure. Hornets not out of the water as Goldberg hits the turf. Lynchburg takes possession. Just about 14 minutes left in this first half.
Really good job there from Ellie Goldberg, doing a fantastic job shielding off the attacker for Hollins and dribbling by too.
Phillips one-on-one, onside this time. Oh, a nice move, an open net, and it files through. Hannah Phillips, number 14, finds her first goal as a Hornet. The freshman from Whitesboro, New York, finally gets a chance to click. We've talked about it, Ethan. Those runs start stacking up. Lynchburg pounds through the door.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about keeping that pressure on, and that's something that the Hornets do so well, not just tonight, but every single night. They're always doing whatever they can to put pressure on this defense, forcing them to make mistakes, forcing them to give them one-on-ones with the keeper.
That was just a great look at the passing, the connectivity, and eventually the goal as Hannah Phillips, who already had recorded 2 assists this season and 15 appearances, gets goal number 1 in a Lynchburg uniform. Hornets still searching for more. Wampler will send this one all the way back to Goldberg. Another chance as Shover out of the box. Phillips was giving chase. We've talked a little bit about Lynchburg's offense today. We know that they have been stellar, but Hollins' offense has really revolved around nice passing throughout this year. 14 assists on 15 goals.
Well, and that's something that Hollins has done decently well today, is that they're not afraid to try and make those really risky passes. I mean, those are the passes you're going to have to make against the stellar Lynchburg defense, and they're not afraid to try.
Here's another run from Lynchburg. Will it find Paulette's feet? Yes. Hornets have numbers. Pass in space. Stays in the box. Phillips was lurking, but Shover collects. I want to make a correction on that last stat we talked about. That's Lynchburg's defense, allowing 14 assists on 15 goals. And so for Hollins, it has to start with some nice passing. The green and gold this season, 24 goals, in which they have recorded 10 assists. So they have still had lots of efficiency. The question for Lynchburg is, can they eliminate some of those crosses into the box? That will be a big question mark going into postseason play. Wampler, oh wow. Wind and fire just about a foot over the crossbar.
Well, there it is again. Lynchburg not afraid to take those shots. An absolute rocket from Riley Wampler. If that went in, that would have been beautiful. A beautiful goal for anybody, really.
4 starts and 13 appearances for Wampler. Still searching for her first goal. Hannah Phillips has tallied one. 4 goals to nil. Lynchburg leads here in the Hill City. It's been a fun contest so far. And the Hornets offense has just been a little too overpowering. T. Shover and goal for Hollins has been pressed into action multiple times. The Hornets already recording 15 shots, 7 corners. Doing what she can in between the pipes. Katie Paulette keeps this one close. Shover right on the line. Corners will be an interesting point to review for Lynchburg as we go into the postseason. 71 corners earned, 71 corners allowed coming into this contest. And we know they've collected quite a few, but you really got to take advantage of those chances as the postseason arrives, where you can create a set piece as, oh, wow, it files all the way through. We've talked about it all night long. Sage L. Wellington gets goal number 1 on the 2024 campaign.
We absolutely love to see it for not just the offense, but for Wellington, giving her the utmost confidence, and that's something that you need going into the playoffs, knowing you're such a pivotal player off the bench. So doing something like this against this Hollins defense gives her so much confidence, and that's what you really want for your players.
Hannah Phillips was on the prowl. Sage L. Wellington was on the mission. Gets goal number 1 to her name, goal number 5 to Lynchburg's. They are cruising at this stage, but Hollins applying a little bit of pressure. This shot test Shepard with no problem, but Adelie Condra once again shows that speed up front. Hornets can get caught napping with how well Condra has executed. But for now, Lynchburg back with possession. Sage L. Wellington now isolation opportunity, and here she goes. Track race starts. Lynchburg looking the other way. Wellington maintains possession. Oh, wow. Now out wide. Hornets can settle, and another nifty move. Pass into the box. Wampler has space and connects. Isolation, annihilation on the side from Wellington. She connects with her teammate in the box, and it is clinical stuff as Lynchburg finally showing us what they can do from the side. It has been so impressive.
This is utter dominance from this Lynchburg squad, and that whole play started with Wellington. Absolute beautiful dribbling moves there in the corner, getting past Hollins defenders and setting up, I mean, an absolute beautiful shot into the top right corner of the goal.
Riley Wampler is credited with the goal, the first of her career, the freshman from Richmond, Virginia. Wellington did a little bit of everything. They have just continued to try from that outside, and we have seen the Hornets with countless crosses. The big difference between last season and this season is that they are converting on more now in the box. Just over 8 minutes to go in this first half. Lynchburg with a comfortable lead. Beautiful night in the Hill City. The temperatures have been staying in the 70s, and we mentioned it in the open. Might be nice for some trick-or-treaters tomorrow night. Not going to see any freezing temperatures, at least that we know of. But you know that Virginia Autumn always throws a few curveballs. With the trick-or-treating theme, we have a few costumes in the house. You already saw the first two. There's one of our nice camera guys, LHSN workers. You fill in the blank. He's got so many titles. The awesome Josh Smith. And he might be the brightest person in the crowd today. The lime green. We'll see how many costumes we can reveal throughout this broadcast.
I believe he's a welder. I want to say that's what he told us earlier, but really he could be anything. You see the mask on the floor there.
He had enough props to make it really available to the imagination. We'll say it that way.
I think he was actually one of the more excited people to do this broadcast today because of the costumes. It's not every day that you get to have a Halloween costume broadcast here at LHSN, so you got to show the spirit when the opportunity is given to you.
Yes, soaking up every bit of it. This Lynchburg women's soccer team actually is a pretty fun tradition with Halloween as well. They'll always dress up for a practice. You'll see all the pictures on the social media. It seems like they get more and more creative every year. Even the coaching staff gets involved. Never too old to celebrate Halloween. Just a grocery trip away.
It's getting a little expensive though these days, you know.
It is.
All these costumes at Spirit Halloween, they're upwards of $50, $60.
Just go ahead and DIY it if you're trying to maintain your budget, because it's only getting pricier.
Well, that's where perfect costumes like Coach Todd Olson comes in handy. It's not
That's
too
right.
hard to replicate the greatness down there on the sidelines.
It's easier to replicate the outfit than it is the success. I think it's going to take a few seasons if you want to go ahead and get to 500. Took Dr. Todd Olson 31 seasons, but get this, if you look at his resume, 29 of them have been winning seasons. 11th most wins in NCAA women's soccer coming into this year. He was the 11th to reach 500, 21 NCAA appearances. And it will certainly continue to climb. Lots in store, and hopefully for these Lynchburg fans, it's another run in the postseason.
Well, I think what some people don't understand is that the amount of wins that Coach Olson has he's not in the top 10 for Division III. He's in the top 10 for every single division in NCAA. He's had so much success in the world of coaching, and like we said earlier, playing too, but he's just such a fantastic. He knows strategy, he knows recruiting, he knows every single thing you need to know about coaching.
That's why this coaching staff is soaking in all the knowledge they can get. It's a large coaching staff when you look at some other teams, but Lynchburg has taken pride in what they're doing and what they're building, and this culture continues to extend every single year. Hornets on the far side with 5 minutes to go in this first half, out shooting Hollins 17-2, and an advantage on the scoreboard. Maddie Olson, daughter of Todd Olson, on the field wearing number 15. Key part of that midfield coming off the bench. A lot of players who might not appear on the stat sheet this season have made very nice impressions, and it just starts with the defense and the hustle. This Lynchburg team has looked so stout with possession as well.
Well, that's really all what this culture is about. It's all about hustle and never giving up.
Here come the Hornets. Back into their half. Olson, the pass out wide to Wellington. Another chance to go one-on-one. Better touch, Wampler. Tries to create space, and Hollins' defense a little bit quicker. Grace Glarum, someone who can make a difference on that back line. We've seen her a few times today. 2 different numbers on the roster. We talked about the goalkeeping duties. So when she is in goal, she wears number 00 out there with the number 13 uniform today. Now the Hornets. Far side, moving into the middle of the field. Hannah Phillips might have another touch. Lynchburg resets. Creating meaningful possession is the name of the game, and Lynchburg is getting a lot better, especially with these underclassmen. Patient passing. Crisp as the fall night. Hornets moving back middle of the field. This time Hollins intercepts, though only momentarily. With the last round of play in the ODAC, there's virtually no movement within the top 8 of the table. Almost everyone who was expected to get wins came away with the W's. Right now, if you go look at the ODAC standings, Randolph-Macon is 1 game ahead of the field. So though they sit second in the conference, Lynchburg with a win today would essentially leapfrog them and a chance to earn that 2 seed in the final game versus Ferrum. Washington and Lee still sits first. We will just have to see how the rest unfolds. We'll have some score updates at the half.
Gotta grab your popcorn because anything can really happen in the ODAC.
What the Hornets are fortunate with right now is that they have wins over Randolph-Macon and Virginia Wesleyan. And so should it come down to a tiebreaker for that position, Lynchburg would win if the points are all even. This ball goes all the way out. Corner for the Hornets in the final few minutes of the first half. I don't think Lynchburg is exactly nervous if they don't get that 2 seed. They'll play anywhere and they'll play anybody, but it would help, especially for the Lynchburg fan base, if it's under the Schellenberger lights.
Well, like you said, everything about this Hornets team, they're not afraid to do anything. Like you said, they'll go anywhere and they will play their hearts out and they will give 100% no matter what the scoreline is, no matter who they're playing. They do everything so well, and they've done everything so well lately that I think they're not worried about anybody. I think they know they can beat everybody in this ODAC, and they have everybody here in Lynchburg's confidence going into the playoffs.
Well, with so many veterans on this roster as well, many of them have beaten those top teams in recent years. We know Lynchburg was the 2022 ODAC champ. And so when you see those reps, you understand those wins are possible. Final few seconds of the first half. We'll see if the Hornets just bleed this out in the midfield. Stellar offense. As expected, the Hornets came to play again. Put on an explosion with a 6-piece on 17 shots. They'll take 15 minutes to talk things over. Hollins will go through their halftime preparations as well. But the Hornets with a steady lead, Ethan, and it just feels like everybody's getting involved.
Well, I think, like you said, everybody's been getting involved. We've seen a ton of subs for this Lynchburg team. I think what is being so pivotal about this team is the midfield. Their midfield is just dominated. Open passes everywhere. They have the ability to make through balls because they're not getting clamped down by Hollins. So having that much space and time in the midfield is allowing them to do whatever they want on the wing.
It has been a connected effort all around. We will be back in 15 minutes with some halftime stats and analysis. Beautiful sunset in Lynchburg. A great game on our hands here in the Hill City.
The need for a good credit with the Parent Plus loan and everything like that. My plans kind of fell through. I just couldn't give up hope. And so I'm rustling through this like shoebox I have full of like acceptance letters and financial aid letters. And I got my financial aid reward letter, and I also received scholarships from the school, and it was, the most affordable for me. They were excited to work with me. Financial aid really helped me out a lot with getting that situated, and I've just considered it a blessing ever since to go from 1 week not knowing whether or not I had to stay home for a year, and then the next week, knowing that this is where I'm going. it was meant to be, and obviously I consider this place my home, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund. There would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be I'm stuck at home, Davion Washington. And so there's a lot to be thankful for, and it's definitely the people that donate. And like I said, not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, when I have it, because I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here. And I've learned that over my 4 years, is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone, helping them achieve their first goal of, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the Athletic Training Laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing skills outside of class time. In the Sports Medicine Clinic and Turner Gymnasium, you'll work with student athletes from more than 20 NCAA Division III sports teams, helping get them back to practice and into the game as soon as possible. As an athletic training student, you're a big part of the success of our sports teams and the success of the local athletic teams. We see this relationship as a win-win situation. You learn, and that helps us win.
Never think that your donation is in vain, because you're helping out hundreds of students that are just like me, who need a shot and who are getting one without donations, without you individuals that are helping to donate to the university and the Lynchburg Fund, there would be no student body president, Davion Washington. There'd probably be, I'm stuck at home, you know, Davion Washington. Not only is your donation building leaders, but it's building leaders like myself and others that will hopefully want to pay it forward one day and do the same thing. I know for a fact that, you know, when I have it, because I will, I want to give back to this university that provided me a home for 4 years.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
If you like being close with your professors, if you like being in small classes that help with one-on-one, if you like being in positive communities that help you train your weak points and strengthen your strong points, then the University of Lynchburg is a great place to go. You can never go wrong with the amount of help that they offer, the amount of self-sacrifice that other people will put in for you. It has a beautiful campus, it has dedicated teachers, it has nice students, it has fun activities, and it has plenty of things to do.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
An offensive explosion in the first half for the Hornets as they put up 6 goals in the Hill City. As you see, Ella Irons with an easy touch early in the first half, and it wasn't done. Everybody from the Hornets getting involved, including this one. A rainbow all the way over from Morgan Oliver, looping on in. One-on-one stuff with the keeper. We've seen everything from a Lynchburg offense that continues to impress, Ethan.
Well, you said it, an absolute plethora of goals for this Hornets attack. We've seen it all. We've seen crosses finding players in the box going into the net. We've seen shots from outside of the box like you just said, or like we just saw too. Beautiful top right-hand corner shot right there for number 17 Wampler. I mean, it's just been an absolute utter domination for this Lynchburg team.
We will see how the Hornets continue in the second half. We know a lot of fresh faces have hit the field, and it's great to see that at this stage of the season, giving some of the veterans rest. As we take a look at the halftime stats, obviously the 6 goals will pop out, but look at the corners as well. The Hornets with 8, also not on this sheet, but 8 offsides calls against the Hornets, and that's something that obviously is a product of their runs, but you want to try and correct that before the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 8 offsides in one game it's not really good for this offense. Of course, you also have to take into account that they've had a lot more chances this game, but 8 offsides, you've got to kind of clean that up going into the playoffs, because an offsides call, an early run, could mean the difference between a game-winning goal or saving a game-winning goal.
Hollins had a chance, and they had a great stab at it. A few shots that have really tested the pipes, or at least come close, but they haven't been enough as they're still searching for goal number 1. That is the story as we head into the second half. We will see how Lynchburg continues to adjust their game plan. We will see who hits the field and the big huddle as we get set for the second 45 minutes. Some results from elsewhere. The big one that we got to talk about right now is Virginia Wesleyan going on the road to face Randolph-Macon. They win that one 4-0. And so the Marlins are starting to really be in a good position at this stage. We know they've been near the top of the table as well. And Randolph-Macon still going to be in the tournament. They're still going to be a threat. But that may be a little bit of a reality check to say, okay, let's go ahead and readjust heading into ODAX.
You could also look at it as a way of, all right, we know what we have to do going into this playoffs. Let's practice this. Let's perfect what we need to perfect and get better at going into even bigger games. Obviously, like you said, they're going to make the ODAC tournament. So it's really important to look at it as we lost this game in the regular season, but it's not the playoffs yet. There's stuff that we can work on, and there's stuff that we will work on to get better at, that way they can have a better chance of winning during the playoffs.
Shenandoah beat Randolph 8-0. That one was in Winchester. And then another result just coming in from Salem. Bridgewater beats Roanoke 3-0. So when you look at the top of the table at this stage of the season, Roanoke was sitting at 6th. Bridgewater was all the way out in 10th, just 2-3-3. But they have started to put in some very nice performances. Tied Lynchburg, get the win versus Roanoke. And we will see what happens because Shenandoah will now sit at 4 wins. They were previously in that 8th spot. And then Ferrum has a test with Washington and Lee at 7 o'clock. And so that 8th spot and 7th spot in the conference tournament is far from decided.
Well, when you talk about Bridgewater beating Roanoke, that just shows that you can win on any given day. And those games are more important than any game that you're going to have in the regular season. Games that can help jump you up a couple spots in the standings.
It's great when you have a few on your schedule at this stage as well, because it's not always guaranteed in the final days of the season that you're going to get the test you need. Here's Wellington. Cross early in the second half. South to north goes all the way out on the far touchline, but a good look in the first 20 seconds of the second half.
We almost saw deja vu there. That was almost exactly how the first half started for Lynchburg.
Quick little test. How does Hollins respond? The Hornets now staying in that attacking third. They'll have another chance. No, Madeline Boyce a step or two off sides. Madeline Boyce, 9 goals on the season. We mentioned it in the first half. She would be the first player since 2019 to get double digits for the Hornets. Lynchburg, a team that has really done it by committee in the last few seasons. Megan Lauder last year led the team with 8 goals. Granted, it was a product on the field that Coach Olson really wanted a little bit more from this offense. A little bit of struggle in the box, but the Hornets have adjusted, and a big part of it is who you see on your screen. Number 24, Madeline Boyce. Cross played in behind the attack. Wampler chases this one down on the far side. Play not over for Lynchburg. The possession continuing to stack up, and it's really important to watch how this back line adjusts. The midfield has been dominant, not just in this game, but especially in recent performances. Now Wellington caught up on the second encounter. Chloe Mayer disposes of that chance.
You know, it's crazy. In the first half, we saw Wellington playing on that left wing for this Hornets attack, and now we see her playing on the right wing. Shows you how good of a player she is to have on the bench starting this second half. She can really do it all.
She looks so comfortable as well. Another cross met by Faith Falter. Quickly give it away, though, and Lynchburg stays on the doorstep. Oh, nice maneuver to get through. Wellington still out wide. Here come the Hornets. Pass outside. Oh, they're going to take a big stab. This one, not enough to test T. Shover.
Really ambitious shot there, and even better save from Shover to come out and snag that one from the air.
For the time being, Kate Shepard still in goal for Lynchburg. She has the majority of the minutes in this contest. Meredith Bowers got the start. Maybe expect another change. We've seen minutes from Allie Roberts, the freshman from Winchester. Oh, here comes Boyce. Chance for double digits. Oh, this one met by the keeper. A good run, but better defense. Now a brilliant pass to the far side. Here's Wellington winding, and did she get it through? Oh, Shover, a goal line stand. From the angle in the press box, it looked very tight. Referee had the best angle on that one, but Ball stays on the green side of the line. Lynchburg has to keep searching.
Yeah, two really, really encouraging opportunities there for Lynchburg. Boys snuffed out by Shover, and also Wellington snuffed out. She had that shot in the corner, but a really, really nice save.
Some nice defensive adjustments from Hollins. Looks like it will be a goalkeeping substitution as T. Shover exits the game for Hollins.
Yeah, it looks like she's limping a bit there. Could possibly be an injury change.
Coming onto the field, it's a new keeper wearing number 30. That number is not on the roster for a goalkeeper, but the two keepers listed, Grace Glarum and then Allie Klotz. I think it will be Allie Klotz. We'll see if we can find confirmation on that, but Lynchburg will face a new keeper in goal for Hollins, quickly tested. Punt goes a little too short. Wellington collects. Now Olsen in the middle of the field. Morgan Oliver, oh, watch out. Anytime she gets the ball at the top of the box. And now Hollins might have a chance going down the other way. The green and gold with some isolation on the far side. Lynchburg catches up. A few breakaways that we've seen in this contest. Though this chance is relatively benign, the green and gold still searching for that first goal.
I think one thing that is so important for this Hollins attack is you have to be confident in some of your passes. You have to know that your players are going to be there around you. There's always going to, or most of the time, there's going to be a player that's open. But then again, you look at this Lynchburg defense, and they're so good at closing down the passes that there rarely ever will be an open player to pass to.
Lots of different looks throughout this contest. Now Hollins out on the way again. Here's the chance for the green and gold, and Shepard sees it the entire way. The best chance of the game so far for Hollins, and Adelie Condra ends up in the gloves of Shepard. And now a run the other way. Hornets trying to test the keeper. It's Zoe Baxter who's in goal for Hollins. Boyce tries to keep this one on the goal line. Takes a step too far. Zoe Baxter in goal, the sophomore keeper from Roanoke. Few players on this Hollins squad from Roanoke, obviously staying local. Patrick Henry and William Fleming representation. Hollins a little better with possession here in the second half, at least to start it. We're seeing a few more passes in the midfield, but unfortunately doesn't last long enough as Katie Paulette now out wide tries to craft up another opportunity. Paulette sails this one just a little too high.
Really nice shot there, just a couple feet away. Really ambitious shot there from Lynchburg. Like you were talking about, Hollins a little bit more possession here in this second half to start off for the first couple minutes. So really good there from Lynchburg to keep that pressure on.
This is a Hornets team that doesn't necessarily need to be shooting to win matches. 3 times this season have they earned a victory while being outshot. Obviously, this match doesn't fall into that category, but it shows Lynchburg's versatility and how much Coach Olsen relies on this back line. It will be the point of emphasis, and it will almost every match this season when you have the veterans and the names that Lynchburg boasts. Casey, Gurkowski, and Lloyd. Don't forget Meredith Bowers in goal. She has been very impressive this season. 13 goals allowed, 53 saves, and just a 1.2 goals against average.
Well, it just shows you how much confidence not only Coach Olson has in this defense, but also the other players on the field.
Great committee. Here comes Wellington. Pass to the middle. Ava Olson tries to make the connection. Hornets still probing. Oh, they left the back door open. Hollins tried to decide if they were running through, but this chance is sniffed out. Better defense as Lynchburg gets back, and Taylor Burton does enough to put a stop to the opportunity.
Hollins did a really nice job drawing her into the midfield, opening up that left side for their attack. Burton did a really good job getting back into her defensive position and snuffing out any opportunity that Hollins has.
Flag goes up on Katie Paulette on the far side. Hollins has not been afforded many chances, but the ones they've gotten, they've had some stellar runs, and the field has opened up. Green and gold look to advance again. Working again to the back line. Here's Falter. Great connection down the field. But once again, Lynchburg will let this one go all the way back to Shepherd. 35 to play in the Hill City. Still 6-0 scoreline as Lynchburg put up a 6-piece in the first half. Final contest is on its way on Saturday, 3 p.m. start time at Ferrum. The Hornets will have a big test with Bree Bitts and the Panthers offense that has been explosive. They've struggled a little bit in conference play, but they want to try and pull an upset late in the season. Some of the attackers on the middle of the table schools like Ferrum and Averett, we talked about Celia De Diego, set a single game record with 9 goals recently. She's just impressive all the way around for the Cougars. Bree Bitts, someone who's at the top of a lot of statistical categories. There's some firepower in this conference.
Tell you what, 9 goals in one game, that's 3 hat tricks. That's unheard of. You said that stat, my eyes lit up, jaw dropped. Like you said, so much firepower in this conference.
Well, get this. So she was player of the week. She had 9 goals scored. She also had 2 assists. So make it 20 points in one game. A lot of players won't get that in a season.
Just shows you how good of a player she is. She can do it all.
That was a 12-0 victory for Averett over Sweetbriar. And the Cougars showed that offense. What's even more impressive is how much Haley Casey and this Lynchburg defense silenced Celia De Diego in the contest here at Schellenberger Field, because this is an Averett squad that can compete, but it just felt like that offense was extinct against one of the better back lines in the conference. Through ball goes a little too far. Wellington won't give chase. Hollins takes over the throw. A lot of great news out right now in the ODAC. So much to talk about. Here's Madeline Boyce trying to write a storyline of her own. Pass goes into the middle of the field. Paulette. Brilliant chance. Baxter was a little better.
We saw when Baxter came in, subbed in for the goalie, Shover. Lynchburg had an opportunity, dusted off the cobwebs. She's been doing a pretty good job. No goals scored here for Lynchburg in the second half.
Pair of substitutions for Lynchburg, just in different uniforms. Ann Zirkle will take the field for Sage-L Wellington. And then a goalkeeping swap as Allie Roberts will replace Kate Shepard. Shepard didn't exactly have a completely silent day. A few times she was tested, a nice save. And now Lynchburg on the other side with the corner and swinging. Brilliant placement, and Zirkle almost came right in and scored. This one goes all the way back to Goldberg. Hornets. Maybe a little extra tempo. This time Eva Olsen connects with Zirkle out wide. Watch Boyce in the box. Here comes the cross. Baxter has to watch it. Right on the post. Maybe just an inch to the right, and that one is clanking. You just never know where the deflection is going. For now, though, Hollins moves the other way. Adelie Condra, once again, a nice touch. This time, Goldberg collects. Maybe a little too fancy, but it will still be Lynchburg possession. Ella Irons and Tegan Casey will re-enter the contest. They replace Morgan Oliver and Katie Paulette. Also a substitution in goal for Hollins. So Baxter's day is over. It looks like T. Shover has come back into the contest. So the starter for the green and gold will return. Might be tested quickly. Here's Ann Zirkle again. Numbers moving forward for the Hornets. Lots of fresh green in front. And Zirkle trying to create a chance. Hollins defending nicely. Send the numbers, but here comes Ava Olsen. Cross enters the box. Seems like Madeline Boyce just hasn't had a chance to get a foot on the ball in the box today.
It's almost like she was their player to watch too, obviously, with the way that she's been playing lately. She's definitely somebody that not just this Hollins team is going to look to take out of the offensive equation, but something all the other teams that come across Lynchburg for the rest of the season, especially with the postseason coming up, they're all going to look to take Boyce out of this offense.
It's going to be so cool to watch how she adjusts, because last season just 1 goal. It's a little bit different this season with 9. And scoring goals can almost lead to more confidence. When you know you're the player to watch, you understand you're in the spotlight and you have a chance to lead this team to something special. Goldberg finds the placement on this free kick. Lynchburg sends numbers forward. Ball in. Shover has to watch out. Easily grasped this one, but trouble for a moment. Ella Irons on the far side, showcasing that speed. Can she get the cross off? It goes all the way through, and Zirkle cooking, concocting, and kicking it home. Lynchburg's got 7.
Everybody on the sidelines wanted to see her score that goal. The whole Lynchburg bench right now going crazy for Zirkle.
And Zirkle, number 30, the senior, recognized on that senior night from Ashburn, Virginia, connects for goal number 1 on her 2024 tally. A slew of substitutions after as well. A lot of players on this roster. Enjoy playing with Ann Zirkle. It's just fun to see some of the seniors still getting involved.
Absolutely. Love to see everybody getting involved here in a goal from Zirkle. It's just something, and you see it right there from the bench. Like you said, everybody loves playing with her, and everybody was ecstatic after she scored that goal.
Energy all around, and Hollins has to keep on trying to find that possession, but also trying to quell the storm. Lynchburg has been a little more silent in the second half. Just 1 goal, but definitely the majority of possession. Starting to see how well they can swarm certain spots on the field. Ella Irons, sharp defense on the far side. This pass rolling all the way through. Now a chance heading the other way. Condra, the near touch line, no can do. Zirkle feeling it down the near touch line, and Lynchburg searching for another connection as Hannah Phillips was open.
Really good idea there for Gerkel trying to connect with that pass towards the midfield. We see in the last couple runs that she's made down the right side is she's really big on using her strength, shielding the opponent from getting that ball.
Their strength and their speed. Condra elects for the latter. Hollins passes this one out. Oh, here's another chance. Allie Roberts will field this one. Another test from Hollins, this time outside the 18-yard box. We've seen some of the results this season. You see some of the crooked numbers from Hollins, but it really is impressive with Kat Van Orden. 1 win in the team's last 3 seasons. Now you're trying to get to 4 and make that improvement. Irons advancing forward. Better defense on the far side. Leah Ray Tucker gets that chance taken care of. For Van Orden, though, it's just about continuing to look forward to the future. We know this is not an easy conference. A lot of teams are certainly in some of the best years of their program history. You have to imagine, too, Ethan, that those wins will continue coming over the years. Just got to keep getting the recruits and keep building the culture.
Well, absolutely, and like you said, they're searching for a 4-win season, first time in a while, and when you're having a season like this and your team is a little inexperienced and not doing too great in some of these games, you have to look on the bright side, and you have to think 4 wins is great for this team. And like you said, it's all about the future. And when you have such young players that are doing well this year and you have them starting every single game, there's stuff that you can look forward to, and you have to be confident knowing that your players are going to provide for you. And if you can recruit well, and if you can keep a culture like Lynchburg does, if you can keep your own culture, you have stuff to look forward to.
We made a great point about the youth movement as well. Evelyn Kiefer will be back. She's a freshman. Adelaide Condra, the speedster, will be back. Leah Ray Tucker is in her freshman season. T. Shover still has 1 more year in goal. And so, obviously, it does come down to recruiting. But Hollins does have a team that could start putting some results together.
It's all about building that process. It's trusting in the process, and that's a term you hear everywhere. Is if you trust in the process, you trust in the culture, you got a lot to look forward to.
Shover takes care of Ella Iron's shot. Will be fun to watch in the upcoming years how this Hollins program continues to progress. This ball beautifully played through to Zirkle out wide. Takes another pass. Hornets with better footwork. Look at the connecting of the dots. Lynchburg all around the field, and Ella Irons somehow able to sneak out that shot. Just a matter of feet from connecting with the post. Now 27 shots on the day for the Hornets. So they have still been efficient. You see the 7 on the scoreboard, but they are finding the right chances, creating quality chances through their passing. Well, Ethan, we've talked about the regular season, and it looks like just 1 more regular season game upcoming. It's field hockey on Saturday. And so it's going to be ODAC time before we know it. A lot of fans out on the track.
ODAC playoffs is something that...
Hold that thought. Goal number 8 for Lynchburg. Forget the long conversations. Hannah Phillips doubles up.
We feel like a broken record up here. It's just complete dominance from Lynchburg. Tons of passes into the box, finding teammates. It's a goal fest out here for Lynchburg, and we were just talking about the playoffs before we were interrupted by the goal, and games like this are just as important as close games against top teams in the ODAC.
You're exactly right. Can't believe we were interrupted. They had to score when we were talking.
Well, you never really know in games like this.
That's right. Well, apologies, partner. Didn't give you the alley. Lynchburg and Hannah Phillips are back on the scoreboard. And, you know, it's so cool to see how much support there is during the ODAC frame, because you know that the regular season is tough. You got students in classes. Obviously, Code Red affairs guarantee you're going to get attendance, but it only happens once a season. So to get to the ODACs when it is truly just everyone wanting to be out there supporting their classmates, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, 100%. You said it. We only get one Code Red game a year, but Lynchburg's women's soccer has a chance to have 2 home games, which is basically like a Code Red game. And we can talk about Lynchburg's fans all we want. We can talk about it all day. We have pictures, videos, everything. They love to show up on the other side of the track, right here below us on the bleachers. But we can also talk about away fans. They travel healthily. A couple years ago, Lynchburg, when we won, the Lynchburg men's team won against the Randolph Hillcats. Ton of fans here, and it was about half and half. I mean, Randolph right down the road, but ODAC teams, they travel well, especially in the playoffs. So don't expect to see only Lynchburg fans here for the playoffs.
Look no further than the lacrosse season as well. There are always going to be lacrosse fans out in attendance on Schellenberger. Lots of great stuff happening in the Hill City. And Zirkle assisted last time out. Can she get another one? Hollins a touch that sends the Hornets back out wide. North of 20 minutes to play. Lynchburg continuing to look sharp. Almost all the possession here in the second half. Danella Irons somehow stay on sides. Possession isn't over. Shover was out of the goal, but she goes back and retreating collects. That was an impressive play, and Irons was really an inch or 2 on sides. Unless we didn't see someone on the other side of the field. That was impressive stuff up front. Ella Irons, someone we've mentioned throughout this season. Another impressive senior from Springfield, Virginia. She had a big-time performance against Randolph-Macon, a goal to her name, but also earned the penalty that equalized things very early. Lynchburg went down 1-0. The Yellow Jackets struck early, but Ella Irons got an attack, got in the box, and allowed McKenna Dom to slot home the PK.
Close games and rivalries like that, those are the best games to watch out here, especially with the ODAC. We talk about it every single game around here, but the ODAC is such a powerhouse in this country for Division III sports, and it's not just soccer, it's everything. And watching close games and the rivalries that we have, it's so much fun.
Also competitive on the men's side. This is a Lynchburg men's soccer team looking to clinch the 1 seed in the ODAC tournament, but also a lot of talent up front. Virginia Wesleyan, Washington, and Lee. Several tests throughout this season, and when the ODAC tournament arrives, that's when you start to see it in the big spotlight. Ella Irons, great pass inside. Paulette gets touched up, doesn't matter. Files it home. The Hornets fill the tic-tac-toe board, a 9-piece on the day, and Katie Paulette, the brilliant freshman from Appomattox, makes it look easy up front.
A 9th goal for Lynchburg, and yet again, Paulette, another player that these Lynchburg Hornets love playing alongside. Absolute thunder on the bench there after that goal. Everybody was jumping up in the air, excited for her scoring that goal, making it 9.
The Hornets have found offense and mighty waves in this contest. They have just continued to exploit the holes here in this Hollins defense. That goal was actually scored by number 5, Tegan Casey. So one of the sophomores that returned. The 5 and the 6 look a little similar out on the field. So Tegan Casey credited with goal number 9. Katie Paulette is still out there for the Hornets on that far side, but Tegan Casey has been impressive when she's gotten minutes. Here is Katie Paulette. This time she takes a shot. She wanted number 10. Collected by
Lynchburg doing a really good job finding these passes out on the wings, drawing their wingers to the corner, getting easy possession not only in the midfield but on the wings, which is so important with the dominance that they have. And not only in the midfield, but it comes from the back line. You've got so many people to pass to and so many people that you can be confident to pass to.
Watch out, Lacey Garner coming through down Main Street and in. Double digits for the Hornets. Lacey Garner collects another one. She looks so confident on the run. And AB, see you later. Lynchburg showing us what they can do. Make it 3 goals for Lacey Garner. Look at that chance. Side netting and in.
Doing it all herself, dribbling past everybody on Hollins. Shows you the skill that not only is she, obviously she's a Hornet, but a Hornet defender. Showing that much skill up top, that's fantastic.
It's goal number 2 for Lacey Garner. We heard the PA announcement. It is actually 2 for Garner. 3 for Hannah Phillips on the day, though, and there is a tally to pay attention to. Lacey Garner had the first goal of the contest. She now has the most recent at 30 shots for the Hornets. Ooh, Paulette shaking up on the far side of the field. Looked like it's one of those ankles. Trying to keep the stat sheet straight for you. Lynchburg on the day has 2 goals to Lacey Garner's name, 3 for Hannah Phillips, and then 1 for Riley Wampler, Sajel Wellington, Morgan Oliver, Tegan Casey, Anna Zirkle, and Ella Irons.
Never a good sign when you see Lynchburg athletic trainer Brittany running out there.
Not this late in the contest either. You obviously don't want to lose somebody at this stage in the match, at this stage in the season. So we hope Katie Paulette is okay. And it just looked like the touch she took was a little awkward. So you see some of the Hornets defenders chatting things over at midfield. It's been a fun contest so far. Lynchburg and their offense showcasing the firepower once again. Paulette is up and walking.
Well, the good thing is that it didn't look like a non-contact injury, and those can sometimes be the scariest ones, especially with the knee and how important your legs are in soccer. If you take a non-contact injury like an ACL or MCL, I mean, that can take you out for weeks, and especially with the postseason coming up, like you said, a player like Paulette, never want to see a player like her go out for this Lynchburg squad.
1 goal this season. She's been pivotal coming off that bench, and the second string has featured multiple energy injections throughout this season. She's somebody who has shaken things up front. Referee will grant possession to Hollins and Faith Falter. So green and gold can take things over. Hollins did pick up a conference win earlier this season. It was versus Sweetbriar, a 3-1 victory. Chance to keep things rolling in that game versus EMU, the final one of the season. Ethan Lynchburg's men's soccer team off to a good start at Shenandoah. They're up 1-0 in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, like you said, fighting for that #1 seed in the ODAC is so important. We see Lynchburg women's fighting for that 2 seed, fighting for 2 home games here at Schellenberger. Men's soccer team fighting for 3. So we have a stacked ODAC slate possibility here at Schellenberger Field in the Hill City.
Grab your popcorn or your hot chocolate, depends on what day. Make your way out to the track. Some thrillers ensuing.
You never really know with this Virginia weather, especially up in the mountains. Could be cold any day of the week.
Go ahead.
Right back down to 7, or right back up to 70 degrees.
Go ahead and find a weather-neutral snack that you can bring because, like you said, forget the forecast. Forget, I apologize to all the meteorologists at this time of the year because Feels like they're throwing darts from about 50 yards out. They know a lot more than we do, and they're doing their job very well. It's not like summer, though. It's not going to be 90 every day. Going to have to do some digging.
I'm not going to lie, and I said this last time we talked about weather, because last time we were talking about weather, it was about 40 degrees outside, and I had to put a sweatshirt on. But I much prefer hot weather than cold weather. I'd much prefer having to take off layers than put on a bunch of layers.
That's the baseball player in you.
Oh, absolutely.
Got to play through the long summers. We caught some flack, too, for saying it was cold the other day. And a lot of people are actually enjoying the 40s and 50s. And so we will try to keep our opinions as neutral as possible. But it's a brilliant time for sports regardless. And a lot of sports on Schellenberger Field. Here comes Hollins. Kiefer tried that opportunity, no can do, and Ann Zirkel collects in the midfield. Oh, it looked like offsides as Hannah Phillips was a step in front. Little too quick with the connection. If you go back to last year, we mentioned the hot chocolate. Well, it's not too far-fetched. If you were in attendance for some of the ODAC men's soccer games, they had hot chocolate out on the track for the students. It was colder. That was actually cold, not the 40s that we talked about. Sun goes down in Lynchburg. It can get chilly.
Well, talking about hot chocolate, you were saying finding a neutral, a temperature neutral snack. I think hot chocolate can be had cold or hot. I mean, I feel like drinks like that, hot chocolate, coffee, and stuff like that, it's so weird with some people. I feel like you can really have hot chocolate at any point of the day, no matter what the temperature is.
People love their coffee, too.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I'll give you another weather-neutral drink. If you have any opinions, the comment section's open. But how about tea? Because you can make it warm or you can make it iced. Same thing with coffee, though.
Well, I'm very biased when it comes to tea with my European in me. Obviously, I'm half English, so tea is very biased when it comes down to me. But coffee and tea, like you were saying, it's not only a weather or a temperature neutral drink, it's also a time neutral drink. I mean, I know people that drink coffee at 8 o'clock at night.
That's right.
I don't know how people can do that. I'd be up all night.
That's a great point, too, because you see things like sweet tea, or I mean, even sodas, you got everybody drinking at different times of the day. I think a lot of students might have that. The coffee shop on campus, Mission House, if you come to Lynchburg, Schul Hall has you covered. And that one stays open a little later.
Well, coming from a person that doesn't drink too much coffee, I do really like Mission House's, all of their drinks. They do a really good job there.
I'll throw in the same opinion, too, because I'm not a coffee drinker, but that place has just about anything and everything.
Food's good there, too. They do food there. A lot of breakfast foods, too. They do a really good job. That's the good thing about this campus is you've got plenty of places to eat, drink anything you really like. That's what it's so good that this campus has everything, really. You got Domino's, you've got Westover, Mission House, LC. They've got it all here.
Food options can be a pretty important part of the decision-making process. Not saying that someone's going to commit to a school because of the food options, but if you go tour a few different places, it's always fun to see some different landscapes, but also goes into the cafeteria as well.
I don't know about you, but the food was one of the big reasons why I committed here. I went to the cafeteria after my visit, and they were serving a really nice lunch, and I was looking over at my dad, and I said, I think this is the school for me.
That's right. An important piece. And it always helps with athletics as well. Here's Zirkel out wide. A touch to go into the box. Hollins disrupts the process. So Hollins, after this contest, will fall to 3-11 on the season. But as we said, a chance for win number 4. For Lynchburg, they will be 10-4-3. Have to imagine it will be winning season number 30 for Coach Todd Olson. Think it's pretty much certain at this point. And just such an impressive campaign. Picked up win number 500 against Averett a few home contests to go, and then went on homecoming weekend to beat Randolph-Macon. A nice stretch of play for Lynchburg, and despite that tie versus Bridgewater, they've looked razor sharp in the unbeaten streak. Here's Kiefer, heads up on the other side, Allie Roberts acrobatics. Hello to Lynchburg's defense. They were pressed in action quickly. Evelyn Kiefer has had a few stabs at it. You can see the impressive attacking mode that this Hollins team can activate.
Well, that's what we talked about in the first half. Hollins, we said they needed to take advantage of the opportunities that Lynchburg could possibly give them, and they did a really good job there. Just a really fully stretched save. Like you talked about, acrobatics, so big in this Lynchburg team with the goalies.
Allie Roberts, a John Hadley High School graduate, from Winchester, Virginia. She was up in her neck of the woods in that Shenandoah contest that Lynchburg prevailed in. A 1-0 win. Here's Tegan Casey. Pass that escapes this Lynchburg midfield. Got to do some backtracking. Great hustle from the Hornets, but it's not enough. That was Allie Smulik. Trio of substitutions for Hollins. With just over 10 minutes to play, this will be win number 503 for Coach Todd Olson, the winningest women's soccer coach in school history. Continuing to put up numbers.
You know, obviously we've been raving about the 500th win for Coach Olson. When do you start thinking about 600?
Well, I tried asking him in the post-game interview. He said, let's not start thinking about that yet. I think there's only so much you can do, and honestly captures his personality perfectly, because I think he's only focused on this game, this season, whatever that may be. And Lynchburg honestly has this mission of going to an ODAC championship and succeeding to get back for that first time since 2022. It's been 2 years, and this team still feels very hungry.
Well, that's really the best mindset that you can have, and not just for Coach Todd Olson, but for this Lynchburg powerhouse of a team, is you can't be thinking about the ODAC championship right now. You have to think about this game that you're playing against Hollins right now. And yeah, it's 10-0, so okay. Then you think about the next game against Ferrum. You can't think past that. You have to go one game at a time, one half at a time.
That's why for Coach Olson, you can only imagine it's so much fun in the postseason, because you do only have to worry about one game. There's no bigger storyline, no regular season title to play for. All the namesake stuff is out the window. It's win and you're in. And the Hornets obviously have some business to attend to in the ODAC tournament.
Well, the best thing that you got going for this Lynchburg team is obviously they're number 2 in the ODAC if they win this game. But they know what it's like to play with their backs against the wall. You look at the game against WNL, scoring 2 goals in the last couple minutes, ended up being a draw, and they know when those games they're a lot more important than you think. Knowing how to come back is so big for any team.
By no means was it the start of the season that Lynchburg had in the blueprint. Some tough games that they had to play against, though, especially with Hardin Simmons and Johns Hopkins, 2 top-profile opponents in Salem. This team had 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 tie to start the season. And then it just feels like they slowly started gaining momentum. A loss versus Emory, rattled off 2 straight wins. Then a loss versus Washington and Lee, and they haven't lost since. That was all the way back on October 2nd. So almost a month of unbeaten soccer for this Lynchburg team. They'll look to keep that rolling. Now just a day away from Halloween. How crazy is it when you turn your calendar to November? You wanted postseason play, it's finally here.
Well, you turn the calendar to November and you realize you've only got 2 months left in this year.
It's incredible.
It's scary.
And those who enjoy decorating for Christmas in the winter season, well, congratulations, because once you make it over the mountain that is Halloween, it feels like you can start celebrating.
Yeah, you can start celebrating Christmas, but you're forgetting one of the best holidays.
You are. And for us food lovers out here, we've got to enjoy our time on Thanksgiving.
I do like some Thanksgiving dinner.
It's always fun having a week off, too, for Thanksgiving break. Not a lot of high schools get that. Lynchburg, actually, if you go back in your history books all the way to the coronavirus, they were off from Thanksgiving all the way until the second semester. So it was almost a 2-month break for students before they had to crack open the books again. And it's just a very different time now. I think a lot of people will enjoy being at the school rather than having to deal with COVID. But it's just neat to see the different wrinkles in the academic year.
I remember everything about that. That was my freshman year here, and getting those 2 months off kind of made you miss the people around here when they changed it back to the normal scheduling where you go back home for Thanksgiving, you come back for your couple finals weeks. It was definitely a game changer. I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, everybody was feeling like strangers on this campus after all of that, and that's not just the students, but you'll hear it from the professors as well. Some of them still wanting to go back to the old way of things. It's always back the good old days. The adage stays strong. Tell you one thing, Lynchburg doesn't want to look to the old days. They want to do it now. This Hornets team has time and time again continued to impress. They've had success on Schellenberger Field as well. 4-1-1 at home this season. Perfect on the road. 5-0-1. So there was one draw. That was the Bridgewater contest. But the Hornets have done it everywhere. They might need to do it in the ODAC tournament as well. If they make that championship game, will be a big test. Five minutes to play. 30 shots for the Hornets, 10 of which have found the back of the net. Shooting 33%. You have to imagine Coach Olson appreciates the efforts. A game in which Lynchburg has commanded possession. They have gotten crafty with their shots, and all told, we'll be very happy entering the final match day of the season against Ferrum.
They have all the momentum in the world going into the playoffs if they can get that win against Ferrum. That's a perfect setup going into the postseason.
Well, last year, Ethan, this team had a 12-game unbeaten streak going into the postseason. They didn't lose for 47 days. That Emory contest in Charlotte that they dropped at a very similar time on the schedule last year, they didn't lose from then until the final game against Washington and Lee. And so similar setup this year. They have just felt so confident in ODAC play. It's also 47 wins for the senior class. They'll pick up number 48 today. And a chance to reach 50 if they can just get this one against Ferrum and one in the postseason, but easier said than done. Panthers are not going to be an easy test. Led the conference in many categories to start the year, and though that strength of schedule was lower, they have shown us what their offense is all about.
Well, that's just the thing about the ODAC is you can't take anybody lightly. Like we've said constantly this game, you can win on any given day. Any team in this conference can win against any team. So it's important not to take any game lightly. And I think that's what Lynchburg's done perfectly this game.
Absolutely, and we see the stats, goal differential, everything can start mattering at this time of the year. And the head-to-heads will be the big one that we look at and really see what the regular season does, how big of an impact those games are, even when you don't know it. Because Lynchburg beating Randolph-Macon, coming away with a victory at Virginia Wesleyan. That's not an easy road trip. Those are the games that are starting to look really nice and glittery on paper. And Zirkle sends the cross outside of the net. 2.5 minutes to play. Based on today's standings, this is before the games that are happening on this Wednesday. Looks like Lynchburg would either play Roanoke, Ferrum, or Shenandoah. But again, a lot of movement can happen. That's assuming the Hornets end up in the 2 spot. The easiest way is just to wait for the ODAC to release the bracket and enjoy it when it arrives. Just a matter of time, and the men's soccer bracket will be finalized tonight after all the contests have concluded. The Hornets in the first half, that is the hometown Hornets, are up against Shenandoah 2-0. We should say the road Hornets, actually. We get so into that narrative here at Schellenberger. So Lynchburg is up 2-0 against Shenandoah.
That was something that confused me when I first got here, seeing that there were 2 different types of Hornet schools, and especially both of them being such great schools in the sports field. It was definitely a little confusing seeing that.
Similar logos, too. I mean, there are only so many ways an artist can go and craft a Hornet. You can't go put a butterfly up there, but always fun. Ethan, you had a lot of encounters in the baseball season. We know Lynchburg took care of business in the women's soccer campaign, but always fun tests with the Hornets from Winchester.
Yeah, playing against them, it was always a great time. They were always a really good team. And it was kind of a rivalry between them that we didn't necessarily, we didn't dislike them. They were so good and we were so good, and we were always duking it out against each other in the playoffs. So it was just it was like a healthy rivalry, if you want to say.
And just understood expectations as well, because when you share those with another top ODAC team, and I think Coach Olson can attest to this with a lot of other schools in the conference, you know it's going to be some fun battles along the way. Clock will bleed down to 0. Lynchburg will win in dominant fashion. Hollins might have one more chance as Ellie Goldberg's pressed all the way back. Allie Roberts can seal the deal on Schellenberger. Brilliant result from this Lynchburg team as they are sprinting into the final contest versus Ferrum. The stage is set. The lights are brightest. And Ethan, this team's ready and hungry for more.
Absolutely. And when you look at this game for Coach Olson, obviously 10-0 win is massive for this Lynchburg team. But something we know Coach Olson's going to do is they're going to get right back into practice. They're not going to let up. They're going to go into that Ferrum game wanting it all and doing everything that they can to continue this momentum going into the playoffs.
There's just a lot of soccer left, and we know that the postseason is on the doorstep, but this Lynchburg team just has to keep moving forward and taking it a game at a time. Ethan, this is the last time in the regular season we will see this Lynchburg women's soccer team. Obviously, it looks like they will have a game on Schellenberger in the ODAC tournament, but what do you think is the biggest key to success going out against Ferrum and sealing the deal?
I think it's playing their type of game. They know how good they are. They know they can beat every team in this ODAC. It's playing their game. As long as their attacking is just as great as they were tonight, they know what they can do. So really, it's just playing their football, or excuse me, their soccer. You know, it's staying confident, staying true to yourselves, and not trying to do too much.
Well, so much more to look at. We're going to let you go here on LHSN, but do not forget to keep looking at the ODAC women's soccer standings. Saturday is the final day where you can get all the scores and have the official table for the ODAC tournament. But as of right now, a lot of contests concluding here on this Wednesday. Shenandoah beat Randolph 8-0. Bridgewater beat Roanoke 3-0. Washington and Lee right now up against Ferrum at the half. So that will be something to pay attention to. And Virginia Wesleyan, a big-time statement win against Randolph-Macon, 4-0. Lots to consider. We're going to let you go, but a good result from Lynchburg and a fun one here on the day before Halloween. Would like to thank the entire LHSN staff for all their contributions and our director, Micah Adams. He is Ethan Morotsky, and I am Evan Gates, saying so long from the Hill City.